Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your listening and viewing environment. We are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m., scheduling permitted, or from 12 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So I want to say to all of our listeners and viewers, we are here with you as much as we possibly can be with all the great things that God is doing at New Life. And we are here either from 12 p.m. until 1 p.m. for an hour broadcast, or 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Most days right now through the fall and winter, we will be here with you from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. But we're going to be here as much as we possibly can. We thank all of you for all of your communications and for all of your continued support. And as always, we are right here broadcasting live from the FijiWater.com sponsored studio, where you can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships. Whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind, God is concerned about that which concerns you. And that is the reason that we are here with you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, which is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji Water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer, where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you will save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just ordinary water. This is Earth's finest water at FijiWater.com. And for those of you who continue giving on the Give segment of our app at New Life-Delaware, and those of you that have made a weekly or monthly commitment to support the broadcast by giving on the contribution pages of our websites at New Life Ministries International.com and New Life International CDC.com. And those of you that use the QR code or the link provided on Facebook and YouTube, or those of you who use Zelle, we thank all of you for your support and for your continued commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here for you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. So I want to say to all of our listeners and viewers, okay, so we're having a little technical difficulty that has not been resolved, and that is that we're not able to broadcast live on Facebook right now on our New Life Space Christian Center page until that is resolved. But you can view us on Facebook at New Life Christian Center International. Now, having said that, I encourage everyone to go to our YouTube page, Daily Divine Direction. If you go over there, you can find the Daily Divine Direction. You can also see the Sunday sermon. We've been having a problem with this Facebook integration on one of our pages and on one of our Facebook pages, but you can always find us on YouTube at either Daily Divine Direction, or you can go for the Sunday sermon, you can go to New Life Christian Center Pastor Pope. Well, also today, while I was with the Achievers Academy, we had our internet radio station, WKAPfaith.com, go down, but it is back up. And I know at 11 a.m. or 6 p.m., you're supposed to identify the first three songs you hear, and you will be able to list those three songs along with your name and your email address. Text them to the T-Mobile caller text line at 267-992-1424. I know some of you probably missed that today because of the radio station going out today. The system just failed. But we're back up. So at 6 p.m. today, go to our internet radio station, WKAPfaith.com. List the first three songs you hear at 6 p.m. And then, of course, 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. the rest of the month. One of our listeners and viewers will receive a case be selected to receive a case of Fiji water from FijiWater.com. But sometimes we have technical issues that we have to address. And unfortunately, one of them hasn't been corrected, but it will be corrected at some point. And so in the interim, just stay tuned in with us through our YouTube channel, A Daily Divine Direction. I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers, and I'm going to take the time to walk through this. You said that your parents made many poor decisions that you now recognize as an adult. You said, however, it upsets you to think how much better your life could have been now that you have your own children and you're doing things much differently than your parents did. So let me first of all say this to you. Parents are not perfect. Under no circumstances are we perfect as parents. You will find that even as a parent, you're not going to be perfect, but you're going to be better. What you learned was what not to do. You learned that from your parents and the decisions they made when you were a child. Could your childhood have been better? Of course, for many of us, childhood could have been so much better. However, we don't get to make choices for our parents, nor do we get to choose our family. We are brought into a family for a purpose. Whatever that purpose is, God is sovereign. He knows exactly what he is doing. So we have to be okay with that. But what you've learned is what not to do. You said your parents made many poor decisions. And that happens with a lot of parents for whatever reason. But the reality is that you learn what not to do as a parent. And now you're able to do something different with your children. You're able to really look at what your parents did as parents and make better decisions. Now, one of the things I will encourage you to do, because I'm struggling with this in our society today, and when I say I'm struggling, that means I'm praying hard. And the reason that I'm praying is because I see a lot of young millennial parents doing a lot of things that they think will be better than what their parents did. Now, in your case, I understand the concerns that you had about decisions that your parents made. But the reality is, you don't want to make other decisions that are not going to be good for your children. You know, and I hear a lot of parents saying, oh, I want my children to explore. I want them to, make their own decisions. They're not capable of making their own decisions. And you have to limit what they explore. Because they will, if you allow them the privilege of exploring everything, they will explore everything. And when they become young adults, that exploration is not going to work so well for them. So you have to be mindful of that also. You will find that as a parent, you're not going to be perfect either. Having said that, don't look at what your parents did, because there were some good takeaways, and say they just made bad decisions. Well, maybe they did, but you don't have to. And the reason you don't have to is because you've had them to learn from. So that has to be your takeaway, that you've learned from. I've often talked about King David, the king of Israel, who became king after watching Saul as king. He learned what not to do. And because he learned what not to do, now he had his own issues. And then he became king, and he had sons who went off the rails. But I say that to say, every step of the way, every generation gets to learn what to do or what not to do. So the things that you learn to do are the things that will enhance the quality of your life, build a greater quality of life. The things what not to do are the poor decisions. And you now recognize what those are. You know what poor decisions look like because you look at the life of your parents and you say, those were poor decisions that were made at a different time of life. But yet they were decisions that were made. So now you know I'm not going to do that. I could go through a litany of them. I could go through a whole list of poor decisions that we all make as parents. You know, if you've ever been a smoker or a drinker or whatever the case may be, a partier, you weren't a perfect parent. Now the question becomes, can we be a better parent? Can we be better than the generation before us? And that includes parenting. That includes building wealth. That includes money management. That includes asset management. That includes quality of life. It includes health and wellness. The list goes on and on. Can we be a better version of ourselves? And can we be a better version of our parents? Because the idea is for every generation to be better than the generation before them. So you have to ask yourself, can you do that? Because now you have the example. Just like if you're going to be a better version of you, you can be a better version of you by not doing the same things that maybe your parents did, but by emulating what someone else has done or is doing. Because all eyes are on you no matter what. But parents are not perfect. So don't blame your parents for what your life could have been. Thank them for what your life has become and what your life is going to become. Because they've given you example of what not to do. You've shared a few of those examples. They gave you good examples of what not to do. Now you can be a better parent because you know that. So those examples weren't wasted. You know that you can be a better parent. It's not important what your life could have been. It's important what your life has become. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will move you into our queue so that you may become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest and fastest 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill. At T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you are over 30 and realize that dating is really difficult. You said men are making it more difficult to form relationships. Well, let me start here. Men are still men. Relationships are difficult because people make relationships difficult. So it's not just men making it difficult. And I'm going to tell you what I have seen, and there's been some discussions about this, and I'm going to tell you what is happening in our society today and address them. So, there's been ebbs and flows. There's been periods of what women have been doing and what men are now doing. And so I know I've said this to all of our listeners and viewers. If you're going to date, you're dating to set a date. Now, I'll get through a couple of components of what you shared in your communication, but we are dating for the purpose of setting a date. We're not dating for entertainment. We're not dating for a free meal. We're not dating for sport. We're not dating just to be popular. We're dating to set a date, on a mission to set a date. Okay, having said that, what happens so often in our society today is that women are trying to get men to do things for them for only the purpose of being, for clicks or for likes or for friends, to see what they're doing. They're searching for the bag. These are the things that are happening in our society today that women are really focused on, as opposed to focusing on the future. And then you have women who even the bag doesn't matter to them. It's just about, turning up and a photo op. I need to be seen. I want to be seen. So that's what's important to them. And then men are women are chasing the bag, men are letting them catch the bag, but then you have to trade off for that. So you have to be willing to sacrifice yourself for what you want. Now, there's some women that were saying, no, if you even want to talk to me, you've got to do something for me. And that worked for a while when you're playing the game. So players will play the game until they get what they want. And then they're going to move on. Because that's what men do. If you're playing a game, they're playing a game. Everybody's playing a game. But those aren't relationships. They're not healthy relationships. Those are just people who are doing what society says is the new thing to do. They follow the herd. And now you have men saying, I'm not going there with you. I'm not even going to pay for a date. If you want to go out, we're going to split the check. That was another phase. Now there's a new phase that I'm hearing about where men are simply saying, I'm not even going to pay for the first date because I don't know if I even want to spend my time with you. And unless I'm going to spend more time with you, I'm not paying for the first date. Maybe the second. So everyone is out of order. Let me just get right to it. Everyone in these phases of dating are out of order. None of that's going to be blessed. It's out of order. Men, we must be men, for all of the men who are tuned in today. And ladies, women, you must be ladies. Now, having said that, I'm not suggesting that you can't develop relationships. You say they're difficult, and I'm saying people are making them difficult. If we just get back to, and this is part of what's going on in our society today. This is why our society is damaged and broken. If we just get back to the basics, we know what the basics are. We know what the basics are of life. Men are men, women are women. If we want to come together, we have to come together for a purpose. And men have to be willing to pay for dates, to take out someone they're interested in spending time with, courting, being in a relationship with. And women, you have to be ladies. You have to be willing to forego the trappings of life until you have been found by a man that's going to make you his wife, and then whatever he wants to do for you, then he is entitled to do that. But we've got to get there. This isn't an overnight process. This isn't in many cases, it's a one-night stand process. It's, I'll buy you a bag, but you're going to sleep with me. If you're not going to sleep with me, I'm not buying you a bag. That's just the bottom line. That's what's going on in our society today because we're all out of order. And then you say it's difficult to date. Well, it's difficult if you're going to be in your 30s and still being the good time girl. You know, if you're just hanging out and partying, that's all you can expect. So let me help everyone out that's you know, trying to do relationships, trying to build relationships. If all you're doing is hanging out and having a good time and partying, that's the return you're going to get on your investment is just a temporary good time, a feel-good moment. It's not going to build a great quality of life. It's not what that does. That's not the result. That's not the outcome. So we have to think about things differently. We have to be more intentional about everything we do. We have to really focus on how we can get the most out of this life. So we just have to get back to the basics. The basics are a man's interested in you. He's interested in dating you. And I'm not suggesting women cannot approach a man. That's not what I'm suggesting. If you're interested in a man, just let him know you're interested. There are subtle ways that you can do that. Or you can just simply, in a conversation that the two of you are having, because if he's interested, he's going to be communicating with you. You can just let him know you're interested. And then follow the new revelation of dating. Go to church, out to lunch 3 times. 3 weeks consecutively. If you do that, I promise you, it's going to be so much better. You can't be in your 30s living like you're a college student. Still trying to party, still trying to have a good time. Everywhere you turn, it's just a good time. That's not going to build a great quality of life. And it's also going to have an impact on your success. Because what you're demonstrating is that you're not responsible. And men and women are have to both be responsible for a relationship. Both people have to be responsible for the relationship if you're going to have one. And not only if you're going to have a relationship, but if you're going to have a successful relationship. See, anybody can try to have a relationship, but can it be a successful relationship? That's the difference. That is the difference. So you have to recognize how important it is to really focus on building something greater than ourselves. So, you know, I want to say to all our listeners and viewers, there is a struggle, a tug of war going on with men and women right now. And everything that women adapt to societal norms, men are going to try to find another way to adapt to what's going on. So women, you know, I saw this for a period of time. Women were chasing the bag, as they say. Players were saying, all right, you know what? You want to play, we'll play. But it's not going to last. It's not going to be a permanent thing. It's only going to be temporary until they're ready to move on. You got to know how important it is to focus on building a great quality of life. And there's got to be some changes. It can't just be a game anymore. There's got to be some changes because none of us are getting any younger. There's got to be some changes so that there can be an example to the next generation. Because if not, all we're going to be doing is it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. It's not going to get any better. And we've got the next generation to consider. I know most people are just thinking about the here and now, but we have the next generation to consider also. And we've got to do our part. We've got to make certain that we really live our lives to maximize our success, experience the fullness of God, and maximize the fullness of God. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Charles Tyrwhitt, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. So if you're in any of those areas, stop in at the retail stores. They have everything a man could possibly need: shirts for men, ties for men, suits for men, and accessories. And if you're not in any of those areas, you can order from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. And right now, if you order shirts from Charles Tyrwhitt, you can receive 3 high-quality cotton shirts for $99. 3 high-quality cotton shirts for $99. You'll save a couple $100 just by ordering from Charles Tyrwhitt right now at ctshirts.com. And The White Company, located in New York. They also have located in London. They also have stores throughout the UK, and they also have a store on Fifth Avenue in New York. So if you're in New York, stop in at the retail stores. They have everything that you could possibly need: home goods, clothing for men, women, and children. And right now, on some items, you can receive up to 50% off at The White Company. You can order from The White Company. If you're not in London, the UK, or in New York, you can order from The White Company at thewhitecompany.com. They too will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. Both stores will ship directly to your front door in an appropriate period of time. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you are normally very focused. You said, however, recently you have struggled maintaining your concentration on some things, and some things have been overlooked. You want to know, how do you get back? Well, listen, you return to your normal behavior. So you've got to refocus. You got to eliminate and reduce distractions. You got to refocus. You got to focus your attention on what you know is going to move your success forward. Make the main thing the main thing. You've got to focus on what you're doing. Forget about what everybody else is doing. Focus on what you have before you, so that you can maximize your quality of life. You can maximize your success, experience the fullness of God. That's what we're all working towards. We're all working for that purpose. We're all working to get to the place where we build a great quality of life. We maintain and preserve a great quality of life. Body, mind, and spirit, everything is whole. And we maximize our success. That way we can enter into the fullness of God. We're no longer living for particles of God, but we are entering into the fullness of God. And then we maximize the fullness of God by preparing the next generation for greatness. That's what we should be preparing the next generation to experience, is greatness. And we are not doing so well with that right now. So we need to work on really being the best version of ourselves that we can possibly become, and to prepare the generation that is coming behind us to become the best version of themselves that they can possibly become. We've got to do our part. And so I want to encourage you to really refocus. You say you're normally focused, so you just got to refocus. You've allowed your vision to become impaired by distractions, by trying to do some additional things that you don't really need to take on. And that's why things are being overlooked. Just refocus, eliminate the distractions, certainly reduce the distractions, and you'll find that you'll have the opportunity to get back into the rhythm and get back into the flow of things that will certainly enhance your quality of life and allow you to maximize your success. So I want to remind all of our listeners and viewers. So today we had a problem with our internet radio station, WKAPfaith.com. But we are back up. It was down for a brief period today. We're back up. First 3 songs you hear at 11 a.m. or 6 p.m. List those songs along with your name and your email address. Text them to the T-Mobile caller text line at 267-992-1424. We will select one of our listeners and viewers to receive a case of Fiji water from FijiWater.com. We want to remind everyone that we are having some Facebook integration difficulties right now, challenges. It will be corrected, but until then, tune in for Daily Divine Direction on YouTube, at our YouTube channel at Daily Divine Direction. And you can tune in for the Sunday sermon at New Life Christian Center - Pastor Pope on our YouTube channel at New Life Christian Center - Pastor Pope. So you